Hello, everyone. I am popping on a Wednesday at 1:30. So who's actually going to hop on here with me? I have no idea. But I'm out in the high tunnel. I am actually was coming to gather some supplies because I am building out our crop plan, figuring out when I'm going to be starting things, successions. We're launching a flower subscription this year, so Nathan and I are in the nitty gritty of all of that. So I'm just trying to get an idea. I'm going to plug everything into Seed Time, which is the app that I use. But I was coming out here and it's a beautiful day. So hello, less is more soaps and more, sorry. So glad to catch you live. Totally impromptu here. Hey everyone, what's up? So we've been taking a holiday break, the kids. The kids are still out of school. You're probably gonna hear them screaming when we go outside. And honestly, we've just really been enjoying being intentional, really feel like figuring out what's bringing us true joy and how do we focus and prioritize on that. And so in this season, it was just kind of taking a rest and spending time with family. And that's exactly what we've been doing. But hello, Melissa, Jen, Homesteading Hustle. Hi, Debbie from Virginia. So I hope you guys are great. We have had a crew of guys at our place for the last 2 weeks. And that's really what I wanted to show you guys is what they've been working on. But since I haven't done a garden tour in a minute, things are still lush and beautiful here. We've got Brussels sprouts we've been harvesting. We have done massive fermenting. We fermented broccoli, cauliflower, carrots, and onions. It was so good. We've done our daikons. We've done carrots. We still have a ton of daikon radish left. We've been harvesting a lot. We've also been gifting a lot as our friends have come over, our in-laws have come over. We've been just sharing food in this season, which feels really good too. These are my ranunculus, which I'm going to be talking a lot about this year. I'm growing a few flowers in crates. This is not where they're going to live. This is temporary until we move them to the new tunnel. Can't wait until I can garden all year. Oh my goodness, look at that garden. Yeah, so even though I've been a little MIA, we haven't stopped growing food. But I don't know, I've just got this new year rush of energy, right? I feel like when we focus and we're planning, you just get excited. And I'm just in a season of being excited, not really feeling overwhelmed, which is typically kind of how I feel throughout the year. So I just wanted to bring you guys along, but tons of broccoli we've been harvesting. We've been freezing, fermenting, eating fresh. Here's all of our cauliflowers. So something I wanted to point out to you, because I talk about succession sowing quite often. So this bed here was the first bed that I sowed, and you can see they're so much larger. So we've been harvesting off of that quite a bit. And then over here, you can see the plants are a bit smaller. This was our last succession. So how I planned that out in my crop plan was that I would be harvesting these the end of January, beginning of February. So I try to stagger it to where you guys know we always have food. I did want to show you this beautiful cauliflower. I don't even know if I told you guys this, but I was growing a few different varieties just to see, and we've been harvesting a ton of these purple. I turn you guys around, but I don't know how to do that on my phone, but this purple is just so pretty. Nice to see you, Jill. Thanks, Tina. Looks amazing. Missed y'all so much. Glad to see you live. Thinking of enrolling for the herbal class later this year. Thanks, Melissa. We've had such good feedback on that. That's just been such a blessing. Hello. I know I should have waited. Nathan went to go grab soil for me. We had a bulk order placed, I think maybe a couple weeks ago, so he went to go grab that. Check out our kohlrabi. So we still have so much growing in here. Glad to see you're alive and well, Adam. Yes, we took a much needed family rest and reset, which sometimes I feel like is important, just to say, hey, I'm gonna step back for a minute, for a season. I'm gonna feel energized. I'm gonna prioritize, and it's just been really, really good. So we still have celery too. Been harvesting celery. Been putting this actually in a lot of soups. I've been making a lot of soups, and then still juicing quite a bit as well. Hi from Washington State. Hi, Brandy. Hey, Jesse. Willowbrook Homestead. How's it going, friend? I want to be able to, it's actually like, the reason I'm huffing and puffing is it's cold outside, but it's 80 in the tunnel, and I'm like working up a sweat. So hang on, let me shuck some clothes here, friends. Beautiful plants. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Oh my gosh, my granddaughter Luna is watching and said, Grandma, look at that yummy cauliflower. Oh, hey, Jessica. Yeah, so things are rocking and rolling. We have enough food in here. My tomatoes, it got down to 19 yesterday, and I was still harvesting tomatoes, but that 19-degree day did the plants in. So the rest that are green, I'm gonna harvest tomorrow, and we'll take these plants out. So according to my crop plan, I've got enough food in here to last us. We'll have our last harvest the last week of January into the first week of February, and that'll be enough food to last us until we're receiving our first harvest again sometime in March. So we try to get all that figured out to where we're never having to go a month without food. Hi, Tamara. I did want to try to show you guys some of these daikons too. So I like to grow the daikon radish. They're massive. This is the, you hear the sheep. This is the Bravo variety. And it's a large variety. They're so beautiful. When you cut into them, they make the most amazing ferment because the brine's just bright and beautiful. And so we grow the bulk of these this time of year because they take longer to germinate and mature. But we'll probably try to do maybe a couple in the spring. But let me show you really what we've been working on. And when I say we, I mean the guys. We've got a friend who owns Olive Branch Landscaping, which is local to Conway, Arkansas. And he brought out the big dogs. So when they showed up with this equipment, Nathan and I were like, oh my gosh, we've never seen equipment this big ever. So not even really sure what this one's called. Pretty sure that's like a dozer. So I think last time we had chatted with you guys, we were finishing the tunnel, which I'm happy to say is completely done. And we were getting ready to build a retaining wall. So you guys know our property is on a slope, and we're growing all of our specialty flowers in our new high tunnel, which we got from Bootstrap Farmer. And so had we not built a retaining wall, the water would have flooded. We already started to see it flooding and causing like issues with soil runoff. So we knew that that was kind of a non-negotiable. Pat, OMG. Yeah. Yes, I know. All right, so these retaining walls are massive, but we created a road so Nathan can get back to his hogs. They leveled all of this out. I say level, like cleaned it up. So this is where our sunflower and zinnia patch will be. This was the pad that we had built back, oh gosh, maybe last fall. I really don't remember. Time frames are like not my strong suit. But we went ahead and took these retaining wall and built around it too, so that our pad wouldn't wash off over time. This is where our pack and wash station was going. So we're still working through some things there. But this retaining wall is absolutely massive. So I wanted to talk through that with you guys, because when I saw these blocks, I really I just could never have expected how big they are. But I mean, I'm standing and they're almost as tall as I am. I mean, check that out. These things are so big. But if we went for one of those super aesthetic, sleek retaining walls, it would have cost us like $7,000–8,000 to do this retaining wall, which made no sense for us. We're budget folks. So Nathan had a friend who had these. If you paid cash and bought so many in bulk, you got a really good deal. So for $1,300, we got all of these blocks to build this massive retaining wall. So now we're gonna go through and gravel all of this, and we had it to where we could get, well, not that we have anything to get in here right now, but eventually, if Nathan ever gets a side-by-side, we've got it to where we can drive something in here, or even our gorilla cart. Hear that? We live by an Air Force base. So we kind of have it to where you can come down. We could get a gorilla cart in here, a side-by-side. Technically, a small tractor could fit in here to get things cleaned out of the tunnel easily. So right now, that's pretty much the goal. We got to finish rocking in between all of the tunnels. So we've been starting to get gravel dumped to be able to do that. So I feel like it is finally starting to come along. It has been just a work in progress, but with spring approaching, it seems a little more urgent. I love how all your food is enclosed. Very smart move. Hi, excited. I caught this live. I just found your channel last week and obsessed. Oh, thanks, Kayla. It works, and that's all that matters, and the money you saved. Welcome back to the real world. So happy for your beautiful family and the fact that you took a refreshing break. Love all this healthy and scrumptious looking vegetables. Y'all are so sweet. I will say, I have been just try to prop y'all up. I've been so just like, I feel like I'm always thankful for you guys. I will say, like, your support and encouragement means so much more than I think y'all know. But in the seasons when we choose to rest and shift focus, the fact that you guys just like love us and welcome us back, just, it means so much. Like, just your kindness means so much. Living in the world of content creation, being on all the time, takes its tolls, and I think that it's good to just take moments of rest. And the truth is, trying to get all of these projects done and like giving social media 100% of my focus was really hard. So I took a break from YouTube. I took a break from Instagram for several months, and it felt good to like just put all of our energy into getting the farm where it needed to be, especially so that we could have a successful spring and summer season. So the tunnel is officially complete, meaning we got vents up, we got our fan up down there, and we built our beds, which I think I did a video on this, sharing that with you guys. We have 56-foot long beds. We have wood chips dumped at a friend's house. We're waiting until it is dry enough to be able to dump the wood chips in the walkways here. But the dogs got in here. And so we had these beautiful level beds. We had the string. I mean, it was a whole day's worth of work. And those little bitty dogs climbed in through the back. They dug a hole and climbed in through the back. So we have to go back through tomorrow and level and kind of top dress some. And then what Nathan was working on today before he went and got soil is taking some of the gravel that we got dumped and filling in the gaps. So we had the pad level, but it was still left where it was like the tunnel was touching at one end and not touching at the other, if that makes sense as far as the space. So this is going to be great for continuing to keep pests out, trapping heat in, and preventing any sort of critter from getting in here. So I told you guys I wanted to plant tulips in here for a spring crop and kind of just keep working that soil until we planted our dahlias towards the end of May. So I am planting tomorrow 2,000 tulip bulbs, so we can get 1,500 bulbs per bed. So we'll have one whole bed full, half of this one, and then I have got some daffodils and some tulips I bought that are just like kind of random that I'm going to go ahead and throw in here. And then we'll be bringing all of the ranunculus crates and setting them in here and building low tunnels over them, because those will be done producing by the time we need the dahlias to move in here. And I will have had to plant spinach, lettuce, other things in the tunnel to where I couldn't leave those ranunculus in there. So it won't be very long and it'll be pretty full. And then we have this whole section that we finished out, just pretty much a space to set up a table to like harvest, and then also have an area to do content. Set up our, oh, that was a dog. That scared me. That scared me. So we created this little section in the front to be able to really just set up our cameras on level ground. When Bootstrap Farmer comes to film, they've got an area to do that. And so I'm actually really glad that we did this because it's just good workable space. Hi Shelly from Vancouver Island. Love your channel. Sometimes you need some me time. Welcome back. Thank you very much. Did you build the high tunnel yourself? Yes. It took us a year, but we sure did. So with Bootstrap Farmer, they sell kits, like shipped to you. Now, I actually drove up to the Midwest. No, I drove to Texas and I helped bend the pipe for this tunnel, and I brought it back home on a trailer, just because I really wanted to be a part of that process to see how it's made. That's one of the reasons why we love partnering with Bootstrap Farmer, is they are made in the USA. And so I wanted to actually just like show that in real life, like, hey, I know they say they're made in the USA, but like I literally drove to Texas in a day and like helped build and bring this back home. Like it really is a USA based product, which means a lot to us. Thanks Tina. She says, love your high tunnel. Hi from Iceland and New York. Happy New Year, Stacy. So it came with the kit, and the way Bootstrap does it, I actually have the instructions still in the other tunnel. I can show you guys. It comes with an instruction manual. Now, I will say the more knowledge you have on the get-go, the better it's going to be for you. So we hired our friend Caleb to come and help us. And then we hired someone at the beginning of, like, I feel like the hardest thing is, what are they called? Securing the ground rods. I'm gonna move it to the other tunnel. We're just gonna bounce tunnels for a second. I feel like the hardest part was the ground walls and getting the actual hoops up, and getting the peak right. So this is a Gothic tunnel, meaning it's peaked, which is great if you live in a heavy snowfall area, but it's also great if it's really hot like we are here in Arkansas. It can move air really easily, and they're just really aesthetically nice. So depending on your climate where you live, it might be worth it, it might not. But we did hire help in the beginning to get it all kind of set up, and then we hired help at the end to, what do we do? Sean came back and helped us install the fans and a few other things that we are having a little bit of confusion on. But when you order a tunnel, which this was in my greenhouse, it comes with all of the things, all the parts, everything you could possibly need. And then it comes with this, which is all these step-by-step instructions. And then also what happens is when you get to a certain point, there's QR codes with how-to videos. So there were several times that we'd have to pause, scan, watch the video. There are still some things we did wrong. So for instance, we should have put the insect netting on before we put the plastic on, which essentially, like where our sides roll down, we have a layer of insect netting to prevent pests. So that should have been put on before the plastic. We didn't do that. So it's a little bit more difficult putting it on after the fact because we had to go back through and undo the wiggle wire and secure the wiggle wire again. So it is doable as long as you have a plan. I think for successfully putting up a tunnel too, choosing the right time of year is kind of crucial. So we started in the spring, super wet here, not ideal. It was just kind of when my schedule allowed me to go and get it. And then obviously in the summer, it's just way too hot to be outside that much for that long extended period of time trying to put it up. And then the winter, it's super wet again. So it took us way longer to put up, but it also wasn't like top priority. You know what I mean? We were like working on it as we could. Lily, hi Jill, tuning in from Cape Breton, Nova Scotia. Wow. Yes, I love the shape of the tunnel. Our rounded top shelter holds snow on top and it collapsed our old shelter. Bummer. Love all the info on this. Thank you. We are considering putting up a high tunnel when we move, and I need to begin researching what is good for us when the time comes. I'm considering a Gothic tunnel and I'm learning so much from your mistakes. Appreciate the info on the insect net. Yes, absolutely. I'll put a link down below. With Bootstrap Farmer, you can apply for the NRCS grant. I actually want to do like a whole series on this because I feel like so many people could benefit from growing in a high tunnel for the sheer benefit that you can grow food year round. So Bootstrap Farmer just came up here 3 weeks ago, and we spent all weekend recording a homesteading podcast series. Specifically when it comes to, does a homesteader, doing these little air quotes, does a homesteader really need a high tunnel? Can you justify that? What are all X, Y, and Z's? And I think whether you are a homesteader, a backyard gardener, you are farming for profit, there are so many benefits of a high tunnel just for the sheer fact of the sustainability aspect. So for the entire duration of the 2023 year, we were harvesting food out of this one tunnel every single month of the year. Now, what I think people don't understand, and I talked about this in the podcast series as well, we've never heated this tunnel, ever. We don't add any supplemental heat whatsoever. It got down to, well, I woke up yesterday morning and it was 20 degrees, which was wild. We didn't heat it. I mean, the tomatoes died, but it's January. It's not really the right time to grow tomatoes. And with that, we have a ton of hail damage because we get tornadoes and hail really bad here in Arkansas. It's kind of like Mother Nature's, I don't know, people deal with earthquakes, we deal with tornadoes. And you can see here, this year, after this season, we will have to replace the plastic. So they suggest that you replace the plastic every 4 to 5 years, depending on the toll. So you can see there's massive cracks in the plastic. And I don't know if you guys can see well, but there's just like, there's holes everywhere. And we've gone through with like heavy duty tape and tried to tape them. But I say all that to say it does not hold heat well. But when you grow varieties that are meant to be grown in the appropriate season, like our carrots, they taste so much better. We harvested celery and Nathan was like, this celery doesn't even taste like celery because it's grown in its appropriate season. You'd be surprised. So we've not covered any of this with row cover. The only thing we covered up has been our ranunculus. We cover them up if it gets below 27 degrees. Just because they're still babies, they're still getting established. Another thing I will say, if you are looking into a tunnel, this was not done on this tunnel. we did it on the new ones. You can see here, maybe you can see, you see how air escapes as the wind kind of catches it. It escapes really bad right here on both sides. So this really poses a problem in the winter time. And so what we did with our new tunnel to prevent that, because we're wanting to have a fall dahlia subscription. So we're hoping to be selling dahlias from August through the end of November. So we knew we really needed to trap heat well, especially if we didn't want to heat it, which we didn't want to heat it. So what we did with this new tunnel is we put a secondary sheet of plastic. You guys can see we've got it in, and then that prevents that from happening. So even though the plastic on the edge, it will never catch, we just added an extra barrier of support to ensure we are trapping every single bit of heat in here that we possibly can. Now, because we did that, the insect netting doesn't start until after that. You can see it's just fine mesh. The walls will roll down after it. We will not have to replace this frequently at all. And when you order the insect netting with a kit, it comes with so much that if we did have to do any replacements, we have plenty enough insect netting to do that. So again, little tricks. We also opted for the double door to be able to get a gorilla cart in here and get other equipment in here if we needed to make cleanup a lot easier. And then we just did the single door on the back. So that's one of those upgrades that I feel like was worth it. I'm considering a Gothic tunnel. Okay, I already read that one. Love your channel. I have my high tunnel up, but really looking forward to sitting down with your videos and getting a layout planned out. Hello, Jessica. Just installed a high tunnel, but want to replace the fabric plastic 8-foot doors that came with it. Any recommendation? Yeah, so I would definitely do a frame door. And like I said, I really like the double door. It just pops open like that. You can open both of them up. It's really nice. And then when you have the outside of these are UV treated, so we don't have to worry about this breaking down. And so that is the issue. I think on my, so we originally, I think, had plastic on the seed starting door, and we upgraded it to the UV treated just so that it would last a lot longer. And I really like that style better than this screen door style, because the screens broke out of here as it's just settled. There's like, it's just not secure great. So this is just like, you can see here, we're like coming off. Like, I'm not a fan of that, and eventually that will probably be one of those upgrades that we end up doing to this one. When we replace the plastic, we'll probably just go ahead, replace doors, just to try to make it more efficient. Okay, hello from Arkansas as well. This is great information. I'm thinking about starting a backyard garden. Your channel, as well as other homesteading channels, are helping me learn. That's so sweet. Man, this is so nice. This is so fun. Just pop in and say hi. But I really just wanted to show you guys I'm trying to figure out where I put my cat. Is anybody? Oh, here we are. That's the story of my life. I wanted to just really show you guys the progress of the backyard. What's the shortest high tunnel y'all have seen? I'm in city limits with only about 1/4 acre of space left in my backyard. Oh, I don't actually know. I do know that I think if you go on like the NRCS website and you look at like funding options, they will tell you different like suggested requirements. Also, if you have any sort of like, if you live in a covenant or something like that, it might not be able to be bigger than like a backyard shed. I mean, you can see my seed starting greenhouse is substantially smaller. It's 14 by 36, but I don't know how tall it is. But I would definitely research that before you got started. I do know you can make little hoop houses, and they can be, you know, a lot smaller. There is some like limiting factors when it comes to that. But just wanted to show you guys how great things are coming along. We have to fold up our silage tarp. We finally found a good source for organic compost. We already got a dump truck load. So we're gonna have a couple more dump trucks dropped, and we're going to spread it all out and create our rows. And then all back here will be our zinnias and our sunflowers. It'll be so pretty. I've got, like I said, the tulips going in the tunnel. I've got ranunculus and anemones I'm growing in crates. I ordered Lizzie-anthus plugs from Farmer Bailey. They'll be coming in March. So now our next big project is we still have to put trying to figure out which tunnel is which, a frost-free hydrant in here and lay irrigation, which means we have to get a backhoe and we have to dig from the seed starting tunnel a line all the way and connect and run the pipe. So that's kind of a big project. We have to tackle getting soil on the farm so we can start building beds. And then we're shifting gears and we are cleaning out cottage garden. We've cleaned out the beds in the raised bed garden. There's just a lot of work. We got to knock down those beds. I don't remember if you guys caught a video we did maybe back in the summer talking about we're wanting to tear down half of the garden that gets just like crazy invasive grass. Well, because I actually need that space, we're going to tear the beds down, try to bring in soil and build beds on the ground, at least for a year, like a season, and see if that will be somewhat of a solution. I think the goal would still be to eventually knock that all down, but unfortunately right now we need the space to grow flowers. So where are you getting your organic, locally sourced compost? I need some desperately. So American Composting, which I'm not trying to bash anyone, I have not loved their stuff in the past. They never had an organic option. We're a certified naturally grown farm, so that's a requirement for us. And it's always had plastic in it. Well, one of our friends said that they've been working on a formula for over a year and they finally launched it. And so we went and looked at it. It had no plastic. It was great. They've tested it. So that is where we're actually sourcing from right now. We do have a farmer who is going to be selling bulk. And I think we're going to be like offering that through our website too. And then him to kind of fulfill those orders. So if you need it right now, American Composting, I would only buy their organic mix though. I would not recommend anything else, personally. So for now, I'm using the cheap Amazon greenhouse for my seed starting to get us going in the spring. Hey, I've been there. I've got seeds growing in the house right now. So sometimes it just doesn't make sense to heat a greenhouse when you have, you know, just racks in a house. That's way more efficient. So how are your herbalism classes going? Are you still doing those? I am still doing those. I am hopefully about to finish. We had a big push for the home apothecary course, and that's kind of like just the ebb and flow, right, of what we do. We have seasons where we're like all in on a thing, and then seasons where we have to stop and focus on something else. And so for months, it was just the home apothecary course. It's a beginner's guide to herbalism course I did with my friend Kaylee. I'll come back and put the link in here if you can do that on a live. I really have no idea. but then my planner was due. So I don't know if you guys remember, but I'm writing the Tiny Farm Planner, and it's really just all the charts, to-do list, friendly reminders, pest and disease charts, inventory charts, yields charts, just everything I could think of, seed starting charts, like you name it. We wanted to have a resource for you guys, and that was due. So like as soon as I launched and released the herbalism course, I had to quickly shift gears and get that final manuscript submitted, which I did, and now we're in Prep the Farm for spring. So I'm trying to take as many of the classes to finish up as I can before the spring, because I know when the spring season comes, not gonna have as much time to focus on it. Is the American compost human waste? Not with the organic. So it was with the other one, but that is not in the organic one. So good question. Very good question. But just wanted to check in with you guys. I'm so glad that there are people on here. I didn't know how many folks would be on here at this random time of the day, but I've got my list of what I'm starting when. I've already put this in seed time. Now I'm about to get my big, oh, I left that out here. I've got my big dry erase boards that I'm about to take in the house, start jotting them down, and we actually bring those out to our seed starting tunnels. That way if maybe Nathan's starting seeds one day and I don't have time to, he can look and see the date. I've done so many videos on this, so if you just type in like seed starting on our main channel, you'll see all the little tricks I do to try to stay any ETA on when the planner is going public. It is supposed to be released, so we'll pre-order it just like we did the book. I'm not sure when the pre-order will be, but I know it will officially be launched October 2024, so in time for the next spring season. So here's my boards. We just do crop, seeding date, size, number, location. So I'm going to take this inside, clean it off, write all the new stuff on here, and hopefully have a good resource. I have used the American composting company that you're talking about over the years. I find plastic and glass in mine all the time. Yeah, so that is why we essentially stopped using them. And it says, I've tried to start my own compost and it's a work in progress. So we actually cannot, with our certification, our compost didn't get approved because we don't turn it as frequently as we should, and I don't check temperatures. And so for us, we had to quit top dressing our beds with our compost. We used to drive all the way to Fayetteville. Jill, definitely didn't want to miss your live, but have missed seeing your videos. Oh, thank you. So we used to drive to a place in Fayetteville called Nitrons, and that's where we would buy super sacks full. And they went out of business, unfortunately. So we have really struggled. Now, as far as our seed starting mix, we make our own seed starting mix. Nathan's going to get all of the supplies today in bulk. This is a video I'm actually going to do for you guys because I think it's a lot more efficient, especially depending on quantity that you need. Buying those bags, if you're starting a ton of seeds, it's just not like super efficient. So we have found that we like to buy all the components in bulk and make our own. So I am going to share with you guys, sorry. I am going to share with you guys what I do, but Charlie starts back to school next week. Nathan and I have enjoyed the rest, but we have missed you guys too, and we are ready to just get back on a good schedule, share with you guys all the fun things. You can already see so much progress has happened on the farm, and it's just exciting. It's exciting to share it all with you guys and have y'all be a part of this. We're going to be announcing soon some of the work, like festivals we'll be at. So we'll be in Oklahoma. We'll be in North Carolina. and we'll be in Tennessee this year. So we're going to share that with you guys too. If you're local to any of those places, we would love to see you guys. But I'm going to hop off here and get to work. I will go inside and try to figure out how to leave all those links, I promise you. But thank you so much for hanging out with me for a little bit. This has just been so good for my soul. So thank you all. Happy Wednesday, and hopefully I will talk to you guys soon.